Hello, and welcome back to the Robert Rodriguez Retrospective. And today we're going to talk about the 2005 film Sin City. Now, after making all these movies digitally, Rodriguez thought, what can I do with all these cool new technology that we have? Well, he thought, I love Sin City, why don't I make the most faithful adaptation of Frank Miller's Sin City, where he doesn't want to make Rodriguez's Sin City, he wants to make Frank Miller's Sin City. So, he, according to Frank Miller, hounded him and made him say, come on, just do it, because Frank Miller never had a good experience in Hollywood. They fucked up his RoboCop script, RoboCop 2, and pretty much he kind of hated the whole thing. So Rodriguez says, you know what, come out to Austin for a day and we'll shoot a scene and you see what you think. And then Frank Miller was like, what, a day? Somebody gets a coffee in a day, because he knows Hollywood a bit. So he came down, he goes to his giant green screen. They had Josh Hartnett and Molly and Mary Shelton to do the Customer's Always Right part of the movie. And it was a test footage, so basically Rodriguez says, if it works, we get the movie, and if it doesn't work, we'll get a cool test shot. And Frank Miller liked it a lot, and Rodriguez wanted him to co-direct the movie with him. But the DGA, the Directors Guild of America, had some stipulations, so Rodriguez had to quit. This is probably the second time he quit the DGA. He's quit a couple times. Basically, he said before that there's too many rules and they just take your money. And so, after quitting the DGA, Rodriguez was able to have a co-director of Frank Miller. And somehow convinced Quentin Tarantino to shoot digital as a way to show him how it works, and he co-directed as well one scene. I'll get to it in a bit, but there's 3 directors in this movie. And I think Sin City is probably Rodriguez's most creative film since El Mariachi. Why? Because so with El Mariachi, you say, wow, I can't believe he made such an effective action movie with such little money. And in this film, you say, wow, I can't believe he made such a faithful adaptation to a comic book. I mean, the storyboards they didn't have any storyboards, they just used the comic book as storyboards. The whole fact that he changed very little of Frank Miller's dialogue. Like, nobody watches X-Men movie and says, wow, I really don't like Chris Claremont's writing. And here they're like, some critics write, I don't really like Frank Miller's writing. Anyway, so that's it. What is the plot of Sin City? Sin City is different stories, all in Basin City. I'll call it Sin City. One involves Mickey Rourke avenging the dead hooker. One involves Bruce Willis saving a girl from a pedophile, being framed for being a pedophile himself, and comes back and tries to save that same girl from the same pedophile years later. Then there's the Big Fat Kill, where Dwight, played by Clive Owen, has to get rid of a body, or else he'll ignite a war between the prostitutes and the mob and the cops, or whatever. It's really complicated. And that's about it. What works about this movie? The visuals. The movie is visually striking. Even for 2005, this movie looks amazing. I have it on Blu-ray. I love to watch it just for the visuals itself. I love the opening credits. Rodriguez also does the music for this film, and it's amazing. The acting is very, very film noir. A lot of people confuse this for film noir. Really, it's like Frank Miller just said, Sin City is everything that's just cool. But the acting kind of feels like a film noir movie, you know, the narration, the very weird dialogue they have. So I think that's the film noir, comes really from the acting. There's really no time this movie takes place in. Like, there's cars and cell phones, but it feels like a older film just from the way people talk. And yeah, the violence is amazing. I'm not a big fan of CGI blood, but here it works because it's a digital movie pretty much. So when the blood is digital, it makes sense in this film. And I think this film isn't that expensive, and I think it's done very well. One way they cut around expenses is having actors perform whenever they can. Sometimes an actor aren't even in a scene together. Mickey Rourke and Elijah Wood have a whole fight scene together, and they're not even in the same scene. They're brilliantly put together by editing and digital effects. They didn't even meet until the premiere of the film. I'm like, what? And they had a whole fight scene together. That's what Rodriguez is good. Creating visuals, being very smart with his money. He's an amazing filmmaker, and this film really shows that. I mean, this film is one of the greatest comic book adaptations ever. I think it is the most faithful adaptation ever made, and one of my favorite comic book movies. And yes, I will talk about the sequel later on, but for now, let's just say Rodriguez is on a hot streak. Anyway, so that's what I thought about Sin City. If you liked the video, please leave a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe if you like to. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.